Hey there, welcome to Shear Tech Tools. Today, we're installing our spiral cutter head for the Makita 2012NB planer. For the installation, we'll need a mallet, aluminum cylinders that match the cutter head's bearings, an Allen key set, a Phillips screwdriver, a bearing puller, snap ring pliers, and a wrench with hex attachments and sockets. General workshop tools along with some spare wood will come in handy as well, so have them by the side. We'll start by taking off the top cover. Unscrew its 4 top screws along with a hand crank and 2 diagonal members on both sides. Make sure you unscrew the plastic holding the power cable as well. Make sure you don't lose any of these screws. After this, take off the cutter head cover by unscrewing its 2 thumb screws. Then turn to either side and unscrew the 3 bottom screws and take off the plastic walls and diagonal members. Make sure you do it on both sides. We're now going to take off the blades of the old cutter head. The screws on mine were quite tight, so I needed a wrench to get the job done. For me, a 9mm socket did the job. After taking off the screws, grab the magnets provided in the Makita accessories box to take off the blade cover and then the blades. After removing both blades, go to the side with a chain and remove the snap ring with your snap ring pliers. Now turn to the belt side. Take off the pulley cover by unscrewing its 2 screws. After that, disengage the spring from the cutter head lock and loosen the screw. This screw gave us a lot of issues, so you'll see that we replaced it. After that, work the belt off tooth by tooth. Do this by twisting and applying pressure away from the pulleys and rolling that pressure into the pulleys so you can dislodge the belt tooth by tooth. It might take you some time, but it's very doable. Then take off the pulley screw. Throwing some wood in between the planer and the cutter head helps to get the torque you need. I use a wrench with a hex attachment here as well. After the screw is off, pull out the pulley and the key. Make sure you keep the key somewhere you will remember. Then fully unscrew the cutter head lock and then remove the 3 screws from the bearing seat. Now turn to the other side and start pushing the cutter head out. Use a metal cylinder to protect the bearing and use your mallet to push it out. Then just pull the cutter head out. With the bearing puller, pull the bearing seat from the old cutter head away. Now take out your new ShearTech spiral cutter head. This cutter head has 40 carbide inserts. They're sharp and last up to 10 times the lifespan of the usual blades. The box includes spare parts and a wrench for your inserts. Get yours at sheartech.com. This is the most important step of the installation. The cutter head has something close to rectangular cross section. For it to fit through the bore, you will have to orient it so the longer side is vertical. Take the carbide insert closest to the shaft as a guide. If you have it looking up and push it through, it will go through the bore without any issues. After you've oriented the new cutter head properly, push it to the bore from the inside, like so. Push it as far as it can go. When it drops far enough that you can push the other end into its bearing seat, push it in that direction. Then place the bearing seat on the belt side and screw it on. Optionally, place back the cutter head lock. It's not really necessary. Then place a key, pulley, and screw back on in that order. Work the belt back on the same way you took it off. After that, place the pulley cover back on. Turn to the other side and put the snap ring back in place. Make sure you hear it click and that it's fully sitting within the bearing seat. Put the cutter head cover back on with its 2 thumb screws. Then screw the diagonal member on the bottom on both sides and place the top cover back on. Make sure it's sitting on the 4 standoffs and then screw the plastic holder for the power cable. Then put the 4 screws back on. Then screw the top of the diagonal members. After that, place the plastic walls on, making sure they're fully secure, and add the 2 bottom screws on both sides. Then you can place the hand crank. Make sure it's screwed on well. Now, let's test the cut. As always, ShearTac's Cutterhead surpasses all expectations. This board has no tear out, unexpected lines, or snipe. It doesn't even require sanding. Thanks for staying until the end. We'll catch you in the next one.